What is the right reason? We don't know. We actually don't know. We're asking you, and I'm just kidding. But I think this is a really important topic of discussion in relationships. Because I think quite often, sometimes we get into relationships completely unconsciously. Sometimes it just happens by default. Quite often I see this happen where, and even I can say in my own past where, this is like, oh, it just starts happening and all of a sudden you're with someone. And there was actually no conscious decision to be with that person. Sometimes it's just through a comfort. Sometimes it's just because of lust. Sometimes it's just because of they make you feel good, they're giving you attention. Those are the main reasons I would say why frequently we get into relationships.
Yeah, that hormonal surge, you know. Depending on where you are on your path right now, maybe you're somebody that's still drinking as well. It might just be one of those things where you come across somebody at the bar and you're like, wow, you're the last one available at the end of the night.
Oh man. I hope not. I hope not.
But if you are on the path and you're watching this video at all, then you're a little bit spiritual. And so how do you know if you should be with somebody? Well, first and foremost, are they spiritual? Are they somebody that is kind of grasping where you're at? Are they on the same frequency, if you want to put it that way? That's really where I would say we should start.
Yeah, and it's not to say, I have met people who are okay, have come to completion with a partner that isn't seeking, I guess you could say, seeking spirituality. But I would say if you have an opportunity or you're not wed to that person and you still have freedom, or especially if you're in a completely new relationship, probably it's already maybe caused you a little pain or sadness because that person is not seeking and questioning life like you. It can actually be pretty hard to not be with another seeker because there's just going to be so much conflict between your ideologies, your thought currents, the way you run your life, right? That's just going to be natural. And that's not to say they need to be in exactly the same place. That is never going to happen with anyone. But I think that is like something which it can really help set a nice base for your relationship because, yeah, you're going to be on at least the same idea of knowing that you want to be seeking something greater than yourself, right?
Can you speak on your past relationship before being with me? Priscilla was with somebody that they'd been together for some time, and but then you had obviously a bigger spiritual awakening than, you know, just you're a Christian and whatnot. All of a sudden now, you know, you're basically going down the path of Hinduism. And so can you speak on what that transition was like, being with that person, and then how they took it, and then how you kind of knew?
Yeah. It was hard for me, definitely, because I was already multiple years into a relationship when I had like my awakening. And it's hard because I was the one that changed. Like, it actually was like, it's me, not you. Like, I have changed. And you can never expect that from anyone in your relationship. But it, of course, naturally brings tension and pain because when you're evolving and changing and developing in one direction and somebody's not going in that same direction, what happens, right? I think most people start to realize that it's not flowing. Like, it's like you're swimming upstream. That's how it feels. And I think probably you guys can relate to this at some point in your relationships. It feels like you're swimming upstream. And I held on for far too long just because I loved the person, but it had to end, I guess, in the space of completion, which it ended up being just through the grace of Swamiji and his completion process. It definitely ended in the space of completion. But I
thought it was just because a better looking guy came along.
No. But I knew for a while that it wasn't fulfilling what I knew that I was ultimately seeking, right? And I think for most of us, I can say, we have a goal with relationships. Like, I guess, right, we're seeking a lifetime partner, right? For most of us, I should say, when we're getting into serious relationships. So I knew, like, this is ultimately, if I'm really looking at the bigger picture, wasting my time and not going towards the goal that I want to be going towards, right? But I think the one thing I wanted to touch on too, Judah, was basically the idea that what are you looking to get from someone in the relationship? That question. I wanted to like open that up because I think that usually we are in a relationship to answer that question, to get something from someone, whether it's love, attention, you know, companionship, affection, going through life together, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, go ahead.
Ultimately what you're looking to get is a fulfillment of an incompletion.
Yeah.
We feel incomplete in some dimension of our life. Maybe growing up you felt neglected by your mother.
Yeah.
And so you actually are seeking out this motherly component in the opposite sex. Like this, it happens in a lot of different dimensions of our lives, and we don't know it, unbeknownst to us, we are seeking this unconsciously, and we'll find it.
Yeah.
But then the problem is we're finding that thing outside of us, and that's not where the joy and the true love and the true connection that you're seeking is going to come. It's coming from that wholeness that you're going to experience within.
Yeah, so basically on that note, I just wanted to kind of share with you guys what I've realized about relationships and if you're in it for the right reason. I think the highest space you could choose to be in a relationship from is not from one which you're at all even asking the question I just asked you guys of what can I get from that person? Why am I with this person? It's that aside from what you're going to get, what you're not going to get, is completely redundant. It has nothing to do with the reason why you're choosing to be with the person. You're choosing it as a conscious decision, realizing that you might enjoy life. You would enjoy sharing your life with someone, but it's not needed, it's not required, it's not at all necessary for your happiness or your fulfillment. But that outside of that, which you already have, or which you're already seeking on your own, in your own space, you're deciding to be with that person.
It's all about enriching the other. It's entering it and deciding, okay, I'm not looking to get something out of this relationship.
Give.
How can I give to this individual? And being so enthralled with giving and being in that state of like just gratitude. Yeah, you're with them, but also, life is about contributing and enriching others around you, and not necessarily, have this secret agenda to now Priscilla can cook all of my meals and do my laundry.
That's a good joke because I don't cook at all.
You
I do laundry. I do laundry.
Yeah.
I'm nice about that, I guess. But it's so true. And I think when we're really coming from that space of that when you're in that space, that excitement, that connection with someone where you just feel like, I want to give my best self to that person. That is the kind of space I would say making a decision to be in a relationship you should be in. Of that feeling like you're just so excited for what could be, for that possibility that you have for yourself and what you'd like to even share with that person, what possibility you could help them reach and what you could help them share.
I would say before doing that though, you should really find that wholeness. And I think that's what made our relationship so successful, is that we first decided to focus on ourselves.
Definitely.
And not worry about, getting into a relationship, especially if you're one of those people that goes from one relationship to another. Take a step back.
Yeah.
Be willing to seek love within yourself. Find gratitude just for life, for causeless reasons.
Yeah.
And what you'll find is that, one, you become so whole that you won't necessarily feel like you need something outside of you, which will make a relationship that much more grander.
Yeah.
Or you might realize that, look,
you don't even-
I don't even need to go down this route. And so just focusing on yourself really does go a long way. And I could say from my own experience,
Definitely.
I was in a lot of relationships, and taking a step back, and I took a solid 3 years.
That was awesome.
And I just decided I'm not going to put myself in a relationship and see where that takes me. And it seemed to work out 50% okay.
50%. Yeah, 50%.
That's passing. That's passing.
Okay, cool. I'm glad I passed. But I definitely would completely agree with that, though. If you are somebody who has either recently gotten out of a relationship or still in one, but knowing it's maybe coming to a close, before you take that next jump, or even if you actually haven't been in a while, but you still feel like I am not stable in myself, I don't feel completely established in self-love, then 100% take time to just be with yourself. Just be with yourself. Enjoy your relationship with yourself. You should be becoming your own best friend. That's the best advice I could give someone. You should be your own best friend before you become someone else's. So before you become someone else's partner in life, you have to be your own partner. You have to. How else are you going to give it to somebody? You're just going to be completely sucking that person dry. And if you love someone, you don't want to do that. You're going to suck them dry, they're going to suck you dry, because you're going to attract someone who's also in that same space. So only we find what we reflect, right? So if we're in a space of self-love and completion, we'll naturally draw in people into our life that are in that space also. If you feel like you're in a vicious cycle of finding people that take advantage of you or people that abuse you, I know it's hard to hear, but that is because you abuse yourself, because you don't have that space inside you established yet. So it's very important to take that time and space. That's the last thing I'll say.
Well said. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
You're perfect.
Oh, thanks. So, guys, I hope this was helpful for you. And I think it's always important to ask yourself this question, even throughout our relationships. I think that it helps keep realigning, because even years into a relationship, you constantly have to realign yourself, or you're going to maybe go into a path where you're not in appreciation for each other, you start to develop maybe a hatred even towards the other person, which should not be happening. You want to always bring yourself back to that context and that purpose. So love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And
Subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
If you're new here. This is it's been fun so far. I think this is like our
Yeah.
third video,
Yeah.
but we're really enjoying sharing with you guys. So if you're enjoying this video, subscribe. We got some more stuff coming your way. We're just getting started here.
Yeah, and we'd love to hear your questions, so definitely drop them down below. We'll start making videos, especially that we're still kind of small in this format. We'll definitely see all your comments, so make sure to drop them and we'll make some videos on those topics. All right, guys.
Let's do it now.
Ito na.